With Black Ops 7 now being official, I thought it's finally time to talk about the Zombies game mode. And in this video, we're just going to be talking about the maps themselves. So in a future video, I'll be talking about the mechanics and what we should expect to see. If we're going to see more modern zombies or maybe some reversions or something like that, there'll be a separate video. But for now, we're talking about the maps. And the reason we're talking about the maps is because, as I'm sure you guys all know, a lot of people are thinking that we may be getting a remake of Transit in Black Ops 7. Now, I'm not 100% sold on that, but we'll go through all the evidence and then we can see what we think about it by the end of it. And also talk about the potential of a Mob of the Dead remake too, but that one we'll get to when we get to. But as always, I'd love to hear your guys' opinions and thoughts on everything we talk about in this video, whether it's on a Transit remake or anything at all. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. I love reading through them. And hey, while you're down there, you might as well drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And with that said, let's talk about some Black Ops 7 zombies. So where's this idea of a Transit remake even coming from? Well, obviously it's from the zombie teaser that we got. And there's a couple different things that we see in this teaser. The first thing is that we see these zombies standing around just dazed here, and then a light comes on, they wake up. Now, before we talk about that light, I mean, already there's something that maybe makes you think Transit, and that's when you spawn into Transit, there's just a bunch of dazed zombies until you wake them up yourself, and it looks like something maybe similar is happening here. But after that is probably the bigger thing, that light I talked about, because those lights that go on, it's two of them, so it looks like some headlights to a vehicle. And I mean, think of any vehicle that's ever been in a Treyarch Zombies game before. I mean, the only one that looks anything similar to that is the Transit bus. Now, there's a chance it's just a brand new thing, but from anything based on the past, I mean, it just seems like it's the Transit bus right there. But it doesn't stop there. We also see something that may not seem like a hint at first, but maybe is. And that's if we look at the sky here, we can see it has this weird purple auroras here. And the only thing I can think that means is that it's just dark ether. And this actually makes sense because we also got a little thing from Activision telling us about the Zombies game mode. And one of the things they told us is that it's going to be round based, but also that at least the launch map, if not all the maps, are going to be taking place in the dark ether. And this seems to match from the skybox that we are going to be in the dark ether with the zombies map. And this would make sense story-wise for us going back to Transit, because if you guys remember at the end of the original story, what happened is that Nikolai got all the corruption that included every single map that we'd ever played on and threw it into the dark ether to keep it away from the regular universe. Obviously, it didn't work out in the end, but the point here is that Transit is supposedly somewhere there in the dark ether. So it would make sense that we are at Transit and also in the dark ether. But the final hint that we have for why this might be Transit is right in the middle of the screen. And no, it's not the mystery box light. I mean, cool, that's cool. Like, if we have a mystery box in Zombies, big surprise, I know. But the thing I'm talking about is a little bit to the side of that. And this is where we see this windmill. Now, this isn't like a modern windmill, right? Where the ones that create electricity or generate electricity. This one instead is an old school one. This is a farm windmill that was used to pump up water from the ground back in the olden days or something like that. But the point there is that it's a farm windmill. And this would imply that this area that we're looking at here is at a farm. And let's think about the only map in the history of Treyarch Zombies that took place on a farm, or at least had a farm somewhere in its map. And obviously, you guys know what I'm talking about. That would be Transit. In fact, there's a whole section of it that was turned into a survival map that is called Farm. Literally right there. It's Farm right there. So this means we have those four hints. The dazed zombies, the potential bus from Transit, the fact that it's in the dark ether and that's where you would find Transit, and finally this windmill farm telling us that we're at a farm. That is huge hints. That's four big potential hints that we have for this being Transit, or at least a Transit remake. And I know right there a lot of people are just sold on this Transit idea, but we do also have to talk about kind of why this might not be Transit also. And it actually starts with what initially you may think is the smoking gun, and it's that farm windmill. Because true, this is a farm windmill and there's a farm on Transit, right? But the only problem with that is if you go on Transit and you go to the farm area, there is no windmill. Like, sure, this is a farm windmill, but there is no farm windmill on Transit. Like, it's nowhere to be seen. So that's already kind of an issue there. Like, where is this windmill at? If this is farm, then where is it at, you know? And then the other things like the Day Zombies, 100% that was on Transit too, but it was also on Ancient Evil. But on top of that, if that was like Transit or even Ancient Evil, this would imply this is the spawn room, right? But would this even look like a spawn room like this? And I mean, my argument here is that this is probably just for the teaser, because they just wanted the zombies to react to a light turning on, right? That was the main goal of this. It's not to tell us that the zombies are going to be days here, because if they were days here, this would be the spawn room, but this just doesn't look like a spawn room to me personally. And then also, there's the bus itself and the lights. I mean, sure, the headlights look like a vehicle, and they definitely could be a vehicle, but maybe it's just a new thing and not the transit bus. I mean, we can't actually see it being the transit bus. It's just our best guess on what we've had in the past, but it could just be something new. And according to the leaks that we've had in the past, I mean, there's been this idea of a wonder vehicle being on one of the maps. It's kind of a wonder weapon, except it's a vehicle, right? That is something that's been talked about in the past, so maybe it's just something new in its entirety. So everything we've gone over here has kind of a catch to it. Like, there is another easy explanation for everything we've talked about, or something that doesn't line up with the original Transit. But maybe it not lining up with Transit is also something that may help this idea of it being not Transit, but a Transit remake. Because I highly doubt Treyarch would ever do a very close remaster or even close remake to the original Transit. If they're going back to Transit, it's going to be a changed Transit by a lot. Maybe even exploring Bus Route B and something else like that. Like, it's going to be changed a lot, because we all know Transit is trash, bro. Transit is the worst Treyarch Zombies map of all time. I don't think anybody wants to see that remastered or even remade to a very similar level to what it was originally. So maybe the fact that we do see these things that are like Transit but not entirely like Transit is more leading to this idea of not a Transit remaster, but a Transit remake, and a very big remake. Because if you guys remember, all the way back in Black Ops 4, there was supposed to be a second season of Zombies there, and one of the potential maps that was going to be there was going to be a remake of Transit 2, but changed a lot. It was going to be very different from the original Transit. And what if they just easily just are reusing that idea and bringing it back into this story to make it work again? That, sure, this is going to be kind of Transit, but it's going to be practically a whole new map, maybe even a whole new areas. Like I said, Bus Route B is finally going to be explored in all of this, and maybe that's why we see this windmill, that we're seeing the farm from a different angle. Because if you look outside the map of the farm, I mean, there's a whole lot of farm out there that we could probably explore further, and maybe we're seeing it from the opposite side. Like, there's another way this could definitely work for it to be Transit. And honestly, I think that would probably be a lot better for this game, that if it is Transit but just vastly different from the original Transit, that is practically a new map. I think that's the only way they would make it work, because Transit is terrible. Now, I guess we should touch on this other potential thing that I talked about earlier, of potential Mob of the Dead remake or something like that, and it's this other teaser here, and we see right here just jail cells that, I mean, I'm trying to think of another jail from maybe campaign, maybe multiplayer, or even Warzone, and I can't think of anything outside of Mob of the Dead and Rebirth Island that has this, which, by the way, Rebirth Island is based off of Alcatraz also, so it would make sense that it would be the same thing, right? So to me, these look like cells from Alcatraz. I mean, I don't know anything else they could be. It could be something new for campaign or something like that. It could easily be that, but at the same time, maybe it's a zombie teaser. And if it is a zombie teaser, and that's a big if, I mean, the only thing this could tie into, if it is something based on the past, would be Mob of the Dead, right? Which would be interesting, because it would be the second time that Mob of the Dead would be remade, because it was remade in Black Ops 4 also with Blood of the Dead, as we all know. So it would be interesting, but at the same time, it makes me doubt it a bit that they would remake a map twice. And also, I would just kind of hope that they would release the Zombies Chronicles 2 and just remake Mob of the Dead for once. Like, that's what I would hope that they would do with it. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But the final thing I want to talk about here has to do with the likelihood of Black Ops 7 having remakes. Because initially you may think that there's a really good chance for it, because we're getting back-to-back Black Ops games that are made by Treyarch in back-to-back years, right? So you would think that things are rushed up, so they're going to have to remake stuff, because they're just not going to have time to develop things straight from scratch like they had in Black Ops 6 or whatever. And also, the last time we saw back-to-back sub-franchises come out, it was Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3. And if you think of the multiplayer in Modern Warfare 3, all all those maps were just remade maps from the original Modern Warfare 2. So could we see something similar happen here? I mean, maybe it could tie in like that, but also at the same time, keep in mind that Black Ops 7 is in a much better state than Modern Warfare 3, because Treyarch has probably known that they're going to be making back-to-back games for like 3 years now, whereas Sledgehammer Games didn't know they were going to make a Modern Warfare 3 until they had less than a year to develop it. So it's definitely different. It's not entirely the same thing here. But overall, my final thoughts on this is that this could be Transit, but if it is not the original Transit. This is something entirely new. It's going to be a hugely different remake from what we saw from the original Transit. And if that's the case, I'm much more excited for this than I would be for any other type of Transit remaster or barely remake. I want to see a drastically different Transit because, like I said over and over so many times, the original Transit is trash, and I do not want to see that again. But regardless, as I said at the start of the video, let me know your thoughts on all of this. But that's about it for me. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.